Hi everybody, welcome back to the Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris with your Morning Magpie. This is the 12th edition, just a brief roundup of what's going on in Newcastle United news at the moment. So we'll get stuck straight into it. There's a few stories kicking around at the moment. And the first one is, not surprising to anybody, is you don't get to talk about Bruno. This is Chelsea's turn. We've already had Liverpool trying to apparently sign our Brazilian midfield superstar in January. And now Chelsea have piped up as well. You probably would have seen this on social media. People turning around. I mean, Chelsea fans are called deluded, but my God, this is incredible. So the tweet came out on Twitter from somebody called Frank Khalid, I think it is. I'm not exactly sure who Frank is and what he does. But he said if you could choose one signing between Cristiano Ronaldo or Bruno Gamera, as a Chelsea fan, who would you pick and why? So that then led to a cluster of Newcastle fans telling Frank and any Chelsea fans to basically head away and shite, as we would say. You're not signing Bruno Gamera. He is a Newcastle United player. He's going to be a legend in years to come. He's already said he's happy being here. But again, I think we're going to have loads more of this with Bruno. If he goes to the World Cup and has a belter tournament as well, of course he's going to go to the World Cup. But if he has a great tournament at the World Cup as well, I'm sure every club and his dog will be talking about wanting to sign Bruno come January, come the summer as well. So we've got loads more to come, I'm sure, from this. But Bruno's going nowhere. I think Newcastle United are going to make sure they keep a hold of this lad for a long, long time to come. And he seems happy here, to be fair. He's just had a son and he's a Geordie man. Come on, of course he's not going anywhere. So next story is Newcastle United under 21. So happy Halloween it was. Tyne-and-Wear Derby at St James's Park. There was a few fans that went there as well, which was great to see. But the lads drew 1-1. So we went ahead with a goal through Joe White, I think it was, who's a really talented young player. I think Craig Hope of the Daily Mail's talked him up about the next one who could potentially break in. Very similar to Elliot Anderson, so he does look a talented player. So we'll keep an eye on his development. But yeah, we were leading for quite a long time in the game. The 94th minute came and the Mackems equalised, the bastards. So it was a 1-1 draw in the end, which was a bit of a shitter really for the lads. But you know, it's nice to not get beaten at Tyne-and-Wear Derby, I suppose, from all the years that have gone by. But yeah, for us, you know, it's a bit of a devastating blow, really. The lads would have wanted to win that, I'm sure. But hey, you never know. So moving on to the next story, which is very interesting to see. This has been doing the rounds with everybody, really. That Callum Wilson is the man in demand, in form, on the lips of everybody, really, when talking about England. Everybody saying he should be on the plane. Should be a no-brainer, really. He starred against Villa in front of Gareth Southgate. Apparently, Callum Wilson has been included in Gareth Southgate's 55-man provisional World Cup squad. I think Mark talked about that when we were on the show the other week. Apparently, the rumour is that the BDB himself, Big Dan Burn, is also in this squad. Loads of a mixture of players in there. I think James Maddison's in there, Lewis Dunk, Danny Welbeck, you know, which is a bit of a throwback as well. But I suppose from Wilson's point of view, he just has to stay fit and score goals for Newcastle United. You know, we've already said this till we're blue in the face. I think every single media outlet's on this now. The outside of Harry Kane, Callum Wilson has the best goal-to-game ratio for any English strikers. You know, Rashford's looked a bit better in recent weeks, but, you know, if you want somebody to come on and play up front with Harry Kane, or maybe just come on and grab you a goal in the quarterfinals or whatever of the World Cup, Wilson's got to go. You know, part of me wants him to go because I want him to experience a World Cup. He's 30 now. This will probably be the last chance he gets. But the other part of me is thinking, Jesus Christ, if he goes to the World Cup and gets injured and comes back, we're in big trouble. But, you know, I think Callum will be on the plane. I really do. I think providing he stays fit, providing he doesn't get hurt as the season goes on, yeah, I think Callum will be absolutely fine getting into that squad. And if there's any other boost as well, is that the England medical team or the England team themselves apparently have been speaking to Newcastle United's medical team about Callum and about just, you know, his kind of regimes and you know, what keeps him fit and everything else as well. So yeah, for me, I think it's a real telltale sign. I think that Callum Wilson is probably going to be in that England picture. So fingers crossed he can get there and represent the club, as well as Nick Pope and Kieran Trippier as well, which would be absolutely fantastic. So from one current Newcastle United England striker to one former Newcastle United England striker, and I say former Newcastle striker loosely, our mate Michael Owen has been back in the press, which he just does. Every time Michael Owen opens his mouth, just a log just falls out, really. So Michael Owen has declared himself or compared himself to current world superstar, and the next Thierry Henry, as many call him, Kylian Mbappe. So what Michael Owen has said is that he believes that he could command a similar fee to Kylian Mbappe, who I think currently is valued at about 163 million quid, I believe. No, sorry, it was 163 million quid when he signed. And what is he valued at now? I'm just looking at this here. But I think that what Owen said was, I don't know. I mean, it felt like the figures were a bit higher 1 or 2 years ago. Obviously, the Haaland move wasn't a true reflection. He's waffling on there. He's talking absolute shite. But he said in an open market, when I was 19 or 20, at the absolute peak of my powers, I don't know, you're talking £100 million plus for me. Yeah, then when I say what's Mbappe worth nowadays? 150, 200 million. So if Mbappe was worth that, I don't know. Maybe I am too. So yeah, it's lovely to know Michael Owen loves to turn everything around about himself as well. Listen, as a young player, Michael Owen was absolutely class, to be fair. He was lightning quick, scored goals for fun and everything else. But, since he's kind of become a pundit, really, he's been just possibly one of the biggest wanks going, really, in the media. And it totally disliked as well, even when he was a player that was back end of his career, certainly with the way he was with Newcastle United, then moving on to Manchester United. He pissed on his chips at Liverpool as well. Yeah, and he's just a bit of a dick, really, isn't he, to be fair? So, yeah, I'm sure Kylian Mbappe is not losing any sleep at all over the comparisons with Michael Owen, to be fair. So, moving on to the next story, back with Newcastle United of the present. So the story is that apparently Eddie Howe is going to be able to cherry pick January targets come the transfer window. So Newcastle United are going to look at the possibility of signing. We've already mentioned this before, and rumour has it, it's still up on the channel if you haven't seen it. So Leandro Trossard is a name that's getting linked a hell of a lot. I saw him play up front against Chelsea as well, and he looked class. So left side midfield, left wing, centre mid, attacking mid, and a striker. This boy looks fantastic. And what a play that would be to have in our arsenal if anything does happen to Callum Wilson or Alexander Isak. You've got Trossard that can fill in there as well, do a much better job than Chris, the plank of wood. So, apparently Trossard has won that's high on the agenda. James Maddison doesn't go away either. So, there's obviously they're going to give Eddie Howe that autonomy really to say who he wants to sign. I think Maddison's definitely high on his agenda. I still think Maddison could be the man who's going to be the X factor, the creative outlet. Because I don't think Howe trusts Maxi completely, and I think Maxi's body letting him down probably hasn't done him any favors as well. So I think if he could bring Maddison in and Trossard as well, I think that's two outstanding players that that Eddie Howe could bring into the setup, and it would be a fantastic couple of additions. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. But I think come January, Eddie Howe will already have his targets scouted. I don't think the World Cup will change that, unless there's an injury to one of those targets that we're looking at all. But I think if we get them two in, and we're already kind of dancing around, 6th to 4th position, bringing them two in will only further solidify us and further make this squad even better than it already is, which is just so exciting to see. So just to finish off on the last story there, is one more year for John Joe. So Joe Shelby has made his return from injury. He looks in cracking nick, to be fair. He really does. He looked really good in pre-season too. It was a real blow for John Joe getting injured. He's been mint since Eddie Howe's come in, to be fair. You can't argue with that at all. But apparently John Joe Shelby is going to get himself a 1 year extension to his contract worth more than 3 million quid is apparently what it says. So what Eddie Howe said about John Joe Shelby is he has a huge role to play. I'm sure he might come in against Southampton with Joe Linton being out possibly as well. I don't know. Longstaff's been brilliant as well, to be fair. We're going to talk about that on Evermore this Wednesday, so make sure you tune in for that. But Shelby's 30 now, so he's not totally over the hill, but he's not getting any younger. But, I think for me, the 1 year extension is probably well deserved for John Joe Shelby. I think he was playing some of his best football under Eddie Howe towards back end of last season. And there's no harm keeping John Joe Shelby around in the squad, in my opinion. If Longstaff can continue to push on and get better and better, if we buy in a Trossard or a Maddison as well to add into the mix of that midfield, stroke attacking midfield, there's nothing wrong with having John Joe Shelby in the setup, in my opinion. So let us know what you guys think in the comments below. But yeah, I'd be quite happy to see John Joe come back in as well, because he's been decent for us, certainly since Eddie Howe is coming. So that's us all wrapped up for this episode of the Morning Magpie. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like what we do, please remember to click that like and subscribe button. We are currently over 1,900 subscribers. We're on about 1,957, I think it is. So we're aiming for 2,000. So smash that button and mark and change this graphic to say 2,000 plus. We'd love to have you on board. We've got 2 free shows every week, Monday with What's Going On, Wednesday with Evermore. We'll be back tonight, Wednesday, live at 7 p.m. with the guys to talk about the Villa game and a few other topics as well. So make sure you tune in for that. Let's keep supporting our team of Newcastle United, and wherever you are, have a cracking morning, Magpies, and we'll catch you later.